do a simple sequence and series problem. We're going to do this just to see how to do such kind of problems fast so that we can save time for the tougher problems. How many terms of the series 6, 3, 3 by 2 will make a sum of 765 by 64? So most high school students will be able to do this as long as they know the formula. The issue is time management. What we have noticed is that even the average student is able to do this problem, but they take roughly 5 to 10 minutes to do this, whereas the really good students do this within a minute. And that is the big difference when it comes to limited time examinations and multiple choice questions. So how do we do this fast? We do this fast by looking at the answer. Now you can, of course, by knowing the formula and substituting and doing arithmetic fast, it really helps you save time, which is what most people will do. But there are other ways to do this. So let's get to the solution. So in a GP, we can very quickly find out what is A, because is this a GP? We can figure that out by just dividing the two terms. You can see 3 by 6, and then you divide 3 by 2 by 3, and you will quickly see that okay, A is 6, R is half. We figure that out fast. So that is something you have to immediately do. Is this a GP? So the first thing you have to do is it. So once we do that, we know that we have to make a sum, and we know the formula A times R power n minus 1 by R minus 1. Fine. So we can substitute it and make it as 765 by 64. But here is where, from here, arithmetic comes in the picture, and we have to be fast in this. So how do we go about do it? 1 minus half. So a good student thinks that this 1 minus half is half. So in the denominator, half when in the denominator becomes 2 in the numerator. So they immediately put 6 times to 12. So the next step, they have already written 12 times 1 minus 1 by 2 power n, and they brought the 12 down, and that's exactly what we have done here. 1 minus 1 by 2 power n is 765 by 64 times 12. And here is the difference between the good student and the average student. It is not about just knowing formulas, it's about figuring out this arithmetic very fast. An average student tends to start multiplying or is stuck with factorization, and whereas a good student looks at it as 765 is very close to 768, and so what they do is that they look at it differently. So here is where the difference comes. So you could do it the way the solution is shown, which is, oh, okay, I multiplied 64 by 12. So I go to the side and start multiplying it, and I figure out that it's 768. No. The good student looks at 765 and says, hey, that's close to 768, because 768 is 256 times 3. See, so why? Because they know that the answer is an integer. That is the choice is given. So we need to somehow get it to 2 power n. 64 is 2 power 6. So we have that hint already. So what can I get close to another 2 power? Because at the end the answer will be an integer. So this is how you'll have to think, rather than trying to do 64 times 12, come up with the number and then take LCMs and all those things. So the other way to think of is like this, is that 765 is 768 minus 3, 768 is 256 times 3, and 256 is 2 power 8. This is another thought process that you can have in your head, just to remember that such hints are usually given. But anyway, continuing with the solution, we will end up with 1 by 256. But at a minimum, even if you go ahead and do this as is, I would recommend that to know the 2 powers, as many 2 powers as possible, at least to recognize them. So suppose I say 512. You should be able to recognize that that's a power of 2. Similarly, 729, that's a power of 3 or a power of 9. So these are things I strongly recommend that most students should write down say at least say till the for 2 it should be till at least 2 power 10, which is 1024, to know till 2 power 10, so that when you see those numbers, so it's not about 2 power 10 equal to 1024, it's actually the reverse. Is 10, when you see 1024, you should identify it as 2 power 10. That saves you a lot of time instead of trying to do core raw arithmetic. So it's very important that you learn to powers of 2s, powers of 3s, powers of 4s, till a certain number, till say at least 1000. You should be knowing these things. When you see numbers from 1 to 1000, is that a prime, or is that a power of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 till at least 9? That saves you a lot of time in doing raw arithmetic. So here 1 by 256 equal to 1 by 2 power n. What do you do? So you have to know immediately that 256 is 2 power 8. So I would strongly recommend to really cram up 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, 10, 24. Similarly 3s, 3, 9, 27, 81, then 243, then 729. So similarly for 4s, for 5s, 25, 125, 625. You should know these. 6 similarly, 36, 216 at least, right? So these are very common things that are done. So it's the 7s and 8s and at least till 9s and 10s obviously. 10 is obvious, and even 11 I would recommend at least 121, for example. So squares definitely till 20 you should have it in your fingertips. For other things from 1 to 9 I would go up anything till 1000 to 1500. You should remember those numbers so that it will come in handy in such problems.